It's not an exact science, and you never completely stop learning. So that's, and I'm somewhat shocked sometimes when I see written work put forth by some students. It's not up to professional standards, and that's been an issue for me for a number of years. On a day-to-day basis, I work in a day treatment program for kids that have mental health and substance issues. It's fairly unique with the harm reduction model. So my day looks like I follow the kids around to classes. I run individual groups with kids. I do individual counseling, plan of care meetings with parents on a regular basis to update them on the progress of their child, meet with kids individually. And a lot of it is, as I harken back to what I was saying about being a role model, it's just, being there with the kids, navigating some behavior sometime. And it's no day is completely the same. I mean, there's a number of issues and a number of issues with kids outside your program. The whole key is to hopefully develop a relationship with the kid so that they have some level of honesty with you. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear, because then it's kind of a waste of time for all of us. And that's the important thing. And then you also, and sometimes students have difficulty with this, the boundary. Some clients will tell students something that they wouldn't tell a full-time staff, and they try to indoctrinate the student into kind of a different role or different, and that's something that I jump on with students. That yes, you want the kids to like you or develop a relationship with you, but you're a professional, you're an authority figure, and they can't see you differently. If you're a third year student, you're out in the field within a few months. And pretty much I treat third year students as I would a new employee, because they should pretty much have the skills. But that's a dangerous one where students see the CY kids in the class see the CY student as different, and a number of students have fallen prey to that. For me, it's honesty. Again, don't say what I did was great when it wasn't. I would appreciate your honesty and a lot of feedback. I like a lot of feedback, pro and con, with my colleagues. It's, as I mentioned before, it's a learning experience that's never fully complete, and you pick up things, or they know things about clients that you don't know. And to be honest, I mean, we're all professionals. That's I think goes hand in hand with professionality. Is like be honest, and it takes a while sometimes because you have to be fairly confident. And sometimes it's tough. These are people you see every day, and quite frankly, you spend more time with them than you do with your spouse a lot of times. And there can be issues, but so far there's nothing major. I work with a lady that I've worked with for approximately 11, 12 years, and we can kind of communicate non-verbally and kind of understand what's going on. The teacher I work with, I kind of kid her that she's part-time youth worker, because I love her observations. And I also think the bottom line is all three of us want to be there and want to work in that program, and that makes for a good atmosphere, because some days are really tough, but then you also realize you're not in it all by yourself, and you can debrief a bit after work, because we're in a day treatment, and then go home and live your other life as a husband, father, wife, or mother. I often think about it. Sometimes I think this is a great job. I just got paid for just talking to kids and getting to know kids, and there's some really interesting kids out there. It's a good atmosphere to walk into. Sometimes it's obviously very frustrating, but I resolutely believe that. I mean, we do some good work with kids, and I think, to really answer your question, I think when we hear back from kids, maybe 2 or 3 years later, and then something good's happened, they've gone on to education or something positive, because then they will contact you. And that's great, because a lot of times we don't really know the impact that we have on kids, and kind of wonder, well, what did that piece of work really mean? And then sometimes you get the validation a number of years later, and that makes me feel really good.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay. Did I get the job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Maybe I'll just quickly get you to say and then spell your name for us and give us your job title. Let's go first.
Okay, my name's Tina Jowry. I have to spell out the whole thing. Okay. Tina Jowrey. I'm a child and youth worker in a residential treatment program.
My name is Shine Valiani, Shyne. I'm and spell my last name, Valliani, and I'm a child and youth worker here at Libby's Place.
Okay, I chose the Child and Youth Work program because I wanted to help kids advocate for themselves, kids who were at a disadvantage or needed extra support in just growing up. So that's kind of why I chose it. My family always thought that I would do well working with kids, so that was what was nice.
I chose child and youth work because I just felt like I wanted to work with kids one-on-one, be on the floor with them, go through their daily routines with them. I just felt like I was always a person that was easy to talk to, just kind of non-judgmental, kids can come to. So working with kids was always something I wanted to get into.
Well, I chose George Brown and they had 3 placements. So I think that's why I chose George Brown, because all the other colleges didn't have 3 placement settings. So they were able to give me a lot more experience. So I was able to work in a day treatment program, a residential boys program, and a school setting. So I felt that gave me a well-rounded experience, because when I was done at my 3rd placement, that's how I got my job, and I felt like they really nurtured me in my growth as a CYW.
I've been working in the field for 2 years. I was working with boys mainly. I actually just started working with girls in the last month, actually. So pretty new to the field. It's been 2 years.
And in the past 2
I would say just to be non-judgmental, like I said before. I really feel like they stop when you start giving them judgment. I feel like when they feel you're easygoing, kind of laid back, they come to you more. I think relationships with the kids, I think, is essential. I think more happens with them. They have more that they want to give back when they feel like there's a relationship there that they have established with you. They go to school more. I feel like there's more care when there's a relationship.
I think when it comes to being an effective youth worker, being able to practice empathy, being able to have really good listening skills, and even like being able to challenge them too, and to take accountability for what they have in their life. Advocacy skills are really important because often they don't find that they have a voice. And being able to help them build secure attachments. I find like a lot of the kids we've come along with, they really struggle. So being able to help them with life skills and boundaries, because I find like a lot of kids have really struggled around boundaries. It is really important when it comes to yourself, being able to recognize when you need to take a step back, when you're becoming too enmeshed with a client. Making sure you're doing self-care is very important. Self-care, it transcends not just work, it'll be at home, it'll affect your relationships. So it's also your role modeling for kids too, that you're able to take care of yourself. Also, like, even when you make a mistake too, being a person to own up to, sorry, I made a mistake, and just showing how human you are, because nobody's really perfect. So culture is another big key factor, because you bring a lot of stuff like that's been ingrained from you when you were growing up. So also being aware that your culture can impact the relationships that you have, because they may not understand the things that you do, the things that you say, and where that comes from, and being open to have those conversations with them.
I think being self-aware is very important. I find when you've been through a similar situation or kind of dealt with something, just to make sure that that's not coming out with the kids. I feel like sometimes you project, and I think that can come in the way of like the clinical part of what you were trying to do, because you're making it about you instead of the kid. So I think just having that in mind and keeping it like what's going on with this kid in their life, and if you have that sort of mentality, I think it goes further.
Best part of my job is being able to, I think, being in their life space and being able to partake in things like dog sledding, even taking them to the doctors, like just normal things, like helping them grow up. So I think that's the best part of my job, and having them call me back and say, hey, I'm graduating, do you want to come? And so it's being able to make those relationships and continue that attachment even when they move on from here.
Seeing results, seeing them when they first come in, and seeing where they are in their lives when they leave. Just like the whole process from beginning to end, and when they come to you and say things like, thank you for everything that you've done. And this coming from kids who have, who struggle to have relationships with people, who have developed one with you and are thankful and appreciative. And then they come and say, at the end of the night when you are saying goodnight to them before you're leaving, and they say something like, Shine, thank you. And as you're leaving and you just walk out and you're like, oh, that was nice. I think it's just getting them in here and getting them involved. If I'm cooking, I know that I like to ask them for help. When they see that they're helping, it makes them feel good too. Whenever I come in here and have a cup of tea, I'll say, do you want to come sit with me and have some tea? Or let's just make some breakfast and eat together. I think that goes a long way, because you're making it with them, you're sitting with them, you're chatting with them. And sometimes, like, in a busy day, it's hard to find time to do stuff like that. So whenever you do have time to be in the kitchen, just eat a meal or eat a snack or have some tea with them, I think it goes a very long way.
I think sometimes part of food can be a very emotional thing for kids. So it's also helping them to recognize emotional eating, different things about nutrition. So sometimes when we have like a menu plan, we sit down with them, what do you guys want to eat? And then we talk about nutrition and having healthy portions. Different times in the program we have like a big brunch, and then there's different times where everybody's getting up at different times. So the big brunch is kind of around the weekends. So then it's more of like a group connection, it's more family feeling, it brings a better cohesion to the group that's currently here. Sometimes we do family dinners, and then we have families come, boyfriends, so we get to really engage with the kids on a different level, and it's warming, and then we get really enmeshed with the life. So we get to see how they are with their parents around a meal, and we get to see them interact. Well, usually we ask, like, whenever a kid comes in, we ask them, like, what's your culture? Do you have a favorite meal? And then we try to incorporate that meal. Or sometimes during like special holidays, festivities, we'll go out and we'll go participate in like one of their local restaurants that they go to. We had like a few girls that have been Jewish, so we would actually do some of their meals when it came up to their special celebration. So it's nice because you learn as a CYW, and other kids are get to experience different things as well.
And also, I think sometimes they come in and they say, oh, have you ever tried eating these Italian sausages? Or have you ever ate this roti or biryani? And they'll start naming things that that their mom makes or their grandma makes or their aunt makes, and you have to try it. And so we'll say, oh, isn't your mom coming on the weekend? And they'll say, yeah, maybe she can make it. And we'll go out and get, all the ingredients and ask her what she needs. And then the mom also feels like, I want to come and, do something and make a meal for the house and for all the kids to enjoy. And then we get the groceries and we get all the ingredients, and then they bond. It's also time for them to share that with the rest of the house.
Thank you. Good job. That was great that you brought that up. Who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Sharon.
Sharon Jones, and I'm a child and youth worker. And it's SharonJones.
I'm Lisa Ottini, Lisa Ottini, and I'm a teacher. Okay. I've been teaching for 17, going on 18 years, and my entire teaching career I have worked in collaboration with child and youth workers.
I think what's important, one, is that it is a collaboration, working together, that it's a partnership, that you're not always going to see eye to eye, and it's work. It's almost like a marriage. It's a work marriage. Working together, coming together for the best interests of the youth and the families that you work with.
I think what's at the key of it is that we work as a team towards the goal that has been set with with our student, the client, and their family. And that the key is that we're all aware of what the plan is, and that we're all doing our best so that the student feels success. Because often when students come to us, they've come to us having had pretty horrific school experiences in the past. Many have been out of school for long periods of time. So what we want to try and do is help kids to start to feel good about receiving an education. Essentially, what we try and do is get as much information from the family and the student before the student starts in the program, so that we have an idea from the teaching perspective what courses we can have the student work on based on what our teacher qualifications are, finding out any relevant educational history. Specifically, it seems to be a pattern that many of our students are coming in having already been identified with special needs like learning disabilities or different social emotional issues that they've struggled with. So that's sort of where I start in terms of where my planning is with the students and what they're going to work on. But with that comes the treatment plan, and that's something that we all become aware of and set strategies in terms of being able to support the student in a classroom environment.
And Sharon, what's your role?
My role is to find out what the therapeutic work is and what their goals are as an individual client, but also as a family, and to work with everyone. So clinicians, teachers, probation officers, whomever is involved, whoever is a part of the system for this child, with the youth, helping them to come up with their goals, and then working with everyone to help that youth be successful in the placement. It starts with a cup of coffee. A typical day, I think, here, gathering the students, so the ones who, will march into class, like rows of ducks, and the others who wander or you can't find, making phone calls to the students who are missing in action, calling parents possibly, or the residential programs to get updates for the youth that are having a more difficult time, so that we can prepare for them and be supportive when they enter into the classroom. Helping them to settle into their academics is also something that we do. I usually touch base with clients as well, just to help them be able to focus. Because often if things have gone on from the night before, then they're unable to focus on their academics, and which means that they're getting into trouble. So just helping them to get rid of all of that and to be able to focus on the academic piece. And then the teacher usually teaches.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
while the youth workers are doing all that, the teachers are attempting to start instruction with the students that are present and ready to start working. Mm-hmm. So our students do typically have 3 courses in the day. I have the luxury of actually staying in my classroom for the day, where our child and youth workers rotate with a homeroom group of students from class to class. I think what I've appreciated the most from my child and youth worker partners over the years is their patience, their ability to understand students and to understand what's underlying a lot of the behaviors that interfered with their school success in the past. Child and youth workers they have been an essential part in my work with the students that I've worked with, and I know that many, if not all of my students wouldn't have achieved the successes that they achieved over the years that I've been here if they didn't have the support of the child and youth workers. Absolutely.
In this type of setting, definitely patience, to be open-minded and non-judgmental, to be organized, and to think outside the box, I think, is very important.
Can you give an example of what you mean by think outside the box?
We have youth that come from all different walks of life, and what works for one may not work for others, and to be able to do something different that you wouldn't usually do, and what's different for me may not be different for another child and youth worker.
Do you have a specific example?
To connect with a child, going trampolining. Sharon doesn't trampoline. I've gone skiing. Sharon doesn't know how to ski. Ice skating. Never been on skates. I've done all camping. Sharon doesn't camp. My parents are from the Caribbean. We don't camp. But I knew that it was beneficial to those youth, and it was. And it was helpful. It helped them to open up. It helped them to trust me. It helped me help them to do the work that they needed to do in order to be successful, not only academically, but in life. You know, within their families, within communities. And they were appreciative of me taking the time and doing things out of my comfort zone to help them move forward.
My understanding of the Krista Sepp Award is that it's an award in honor of a child and youth worker that was killed while she was working as a child and youth worker. And I think that it honors child and youth workers who have essentially dedicated their careers to helping youth that are struggling. And I mean, Sharon just lives and breathes child and youth work. I mean, it's who she is, it's what she does. She's got such a knack for understanding kids and to reaching out to kids. And I think that that's what I appreciate most about her, and what I appreciate about other youth workers that I've worked with over the years is just their ability to help students find their self-worth again, because many of them are just lacking and just feeling like they don't belong, they don't fit anywhere, they just don't feel like they're worthy of, you know, people's love and attention. And it's just wonderful to see child and youth workers who are amazing at what they do, and they help these kids regain their self-worth.
Very overwhelming, because I'm not a person who, it was, okay, so it was nice to be acknowledged, but I do what I do because I love what I do. So it was just a bonus to be honored by this award. What it means to me, it helped highlight the work that I do and why I do it, and why I continue to love to do the work that I do. And the successes, like it helped me to really reflect on the youth and children that I've helped throughout the years and continue to help, and their families. And it was a great honor to win amongst, there was a ton of nominations, and so to be the winner was great. They do come back to visit.
They call.
They call. I've been to a wedding. I've been to the birth of a baby. So they do. They keep in contact, whether it's email, they drop by. They call and I meet them for coffee because they want to catch up or they have a problem. So they do.
Mm-hmm. I remember having a student visit. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, and this student had been in my classroom maybe 10 years ago, and he came in saying that he just happened to be in the area. And I mean, we're located at the end of a dead-end street, so nobody just happens to be in the area. But he came to share with me that he had graduated from high school, that he was now living in a condo that his dad helped him buy. He was working, and it was just amazing. And like, I recognized him as soon as he came, and he was surprised that I recognized him. But you don't forget these students. You just don't, because they touch you in a way that is just so amazing, because you're allowed to share on their journey of success. So it was just wonderful seeing him.
The best part, I guess, is just working with the youth, working with them side by side, essentially two different goals, which is the treatment aspect and the academic aspect, but bringing that together to see growth and to watch them be successful. And to move forward and to help them with the transition, because I think that's a big piece that child and youth workers and teachers do together, is once they're finished their work here, is to do the transitional piece. And I think that's so important. And I think it's important for the youth to see people working together as a collaborative for their success. And for a lot of them, it's difficult to swallow because they haven't had that in their lives. People rooting for them and caring about them, and why do you care about me, and why do you want to see me successful? I don't understand. There's not a teacher who's ever done this. No child and youth worker follows me around and all that kind of stuff and makes me tea because I have a stomach ache. What's that? So I think that's the great part of the work, to be able to do those pieces and share our jobs. So sometimes Lisa's the child and youth worker and I'm the teacher, or vice versa. So to be able to do those pieces is amazing.
Yeah, I think that the best part for me is working together within a team to help these students start to believe in themselves again, because many of them at one point did believe that they could be successful and they could do well in school and feel good about themselves, and it got lost on their way. So being able to support them and witness the positive change, it's just an incredible feeling.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent.
Just get you to say and spell your name and job title.
Okay. My name is Tamara Smith, TAMARA And my job title is Recreational Youth Counselor. Child and Youth Care, oddly enough, wasn't my first choice, but I probably shouldn't say that. Child and Youth Care, I don't know why. Seriously, I was talking to Lacey earlier, and I'm like, I just do it because it feels right. I don't know why I do things. Yeah.